One of the conversations we had at the beginning was how much information we needed to exhibit around the school to help people to find their way. When you go to a lot of public buildings, there are signs all over the place. You go to the Barbican, there's signs everywhere, but it's still very confusing. What we wanted at Brent Knoll was not to have to create an environment where you were over-reliant on signs, but that it all made sense after a very short time. So what we did is we didn't overuse signage. We kept it very, very simple because we thought the layout explains itself. And we found that the children worked out where the routes were, where they needed to go, how they needed to get there within about 48 hours.
Some people have described the school as being quite dull and grey, and those were my thoughts as well. But when I first saw it, but the intention is, and it does work, is to have a very low stimulating environment so that children can concentrate on their learning, on interaction, social interaction between each other and themselves and adults.
So one of the reasons why we wanted to achieve a distraction-free environment is because many of our children have difficulties focusing on the task in hand. So you'll go into a mainstream classroom and you'll have displays dangling from the ceilings, all over the floor, on every clear surface, all over the walls. And that results for many of our children on a sensory overload. They can't focus on what you're saying, on what you're showing them, and on what the learning is. So it was our intention to create as distraction-free an environment as we possibly could.
So in the music room we've got lots of windows which are great because they bring in so much natural light into the learning environment. So we don't always need to have the lights on, which is great because they can be distracting for our students. Also the walls are quite plain, which is great because they don't distract the students in any way. I've got my display up for music, which is fine for them to look at, but in terms of all the other bits that could be distracting, there's nothing there really. So it really focuses their attention.
I think the new layout is excellent. I think the wide corridors have taken away all the stress and tension that we used to have in the other school where we were very enclosed. I think the children feel calmer, act calmer. And I just think it's a really nice environment for the children to be in, and I think it shows in their behaviour.
Well, I love the fact that there's so much space here. So if someone's having a bad day and they're walking along the corridor, if they want to keep themselves to themselves, they can. You know, it's not an issue with people coming the other way or lots of people in a small corridor. Everyone's got as much space as they need. And I think for our students that's really important because they might be going through various things or something might have just happened and they just want to keep themselves to themselves. So they can do that. There's enough space to do that.
Well, the new building, I feel like I've died and gone to heaven.